Last night's open mic went pretty good. There were quite a few people that showed up, so it was like an hour and a half of 5-minute bits, people doing their thing. And I had taken in an anatomically correct and correct size model of a clitoris because 2 weeks ago Margaret pulled up her sweatshirt over her head and leaned forward and she said, "I'm a clitoris," and everyone's nervously laughing and all that. And I also took the desk calendar. I had like December was the last one on there, and I folded it over and I drew a giant clitoris on it with an arrow pointing to what people think is the clitoris when there's a lot more to it. So I said, well, they say you talk about what you know. I said, I know kids and I know nasty stuff, but I can't work those two in the same set because that wouldn't be right. And everyone was laughing. And I said, you think I was in Epstein's book or something? And they were all laughing. And I said something about, it's not the size of the boat, it's the motion of the ocean. Unless you have a little dinghy with a hole in the hull. And people laughed. And I showed the picture. Oh, no, first of all, I said, and I've been feeling very artistic lately, and I decided to draw a portrait. So I drew a portrait of Margaret. And I showed the picture, and everyone laughed and laughed. I said, 2 weeks ago, this was Margaret. Even Margaret thought that was funny. So it went well last night, but today was a fucking disaster. Brian had a dental appointment, so I watched the little guy, and I was just so tired. I'd practically fallen asleep. It's just horrible. About 10:30 in the morning is when I can hardly stand it. And he came home, and he knew I had a shrink appointment. My very first one, establishing myself with this new system at 4 o'clock. And Brian said, I guess you can't go with us to pick up Spencer. And I said, I wouldn't be back in time to leave. And it's over there by where Ashley works. It's this medical office building by the hospital. At least I thought it was. So I left early, and the traffic is fucking horrible. Whether they're working on roads or there's more people or what, I don't know. It just was absolutely horrible. And I made it by 1:45. I parked and went in, and I went to second floor like someone suggested. So I go in, and this girl says, I can help you. So I go over, and she says, what's your name? When's your birthday? And I told her, and she goes, okay, you're in this computer. You here for some reason? I said, yeah. 4 o'clock appointment. You don't have an appointment here. Apparently I was in some surgical office or something. And I said, with the Dr. Joel Martinez? We don't have a Dr. Joel Martinez. Then I told her what it was for and everything. And it took her a while to tell me that she thinks I was in the wrong place. And for me to call the main number or something. So I'm sitting there in their waiting room, calling the main number on my phone. I get a hold of someone. She says, oh, you're in the wrong place. She says it's on Barton Road, but it's at 1368 Barton Road. It's in Redlands, not Loma Linda, which means it's about half a mile down the road. She says it's 5 minutes to 4. She says you have a 10-minute leeway. I don't think you're going to make it with the traffic and everything. But while I was talking to her, I was actually physically on my way down and out to the car, and I got in the car when I hung up, and I drove like a bat out of hell down the road. People were, for being anxious to go home after work, they were driving like idiots, stupid, slow pokes. The light would turn, and they'd sit there with their head up their ass. Oh, geez, that's frustrating. I finally get to this place where I think it is. And I go in, and the lady says, can I help you? By this time, it was 4 o'clock. So if it was the right place, I would have made it. She said, oh, it's the wrong place. Yeah, I know who that is. This is inpatient. You're going to check yourself in? And I explained to her 2 days ago I was suicidal. Well, you can go down to the emergency room and check yourself in. It's like, no. I have an appointment at 4 o'clock. I don't think you're going to make it. And you're in the wrong place. So she says, go to those entry doors. There's a phone. I'll transfer it over to you. Pick it up. That way they can lock me out so I don't get crazy. So I go over and the phone rings. I pick it up. And the lady says, you're in the wrong place. Really? She says, we're across the street. So I look. I'm right there at the door. And I look out the door. And there's condominiums across the street. I said, there's condominiums. No. Not that direction. We're across the street. I mean, you could walk over here. And I'm like, what? What the fuck are you trying to tell me? These people don't know how to fucking communicate. They would never make it if they had to, save their lives by telling someone how to help save them or whatever, Finally, I got it out of her at 5 after 4 that the little side street called Iowa that empties out onto Barton Road, there's a building there, and they're in that building. She says, we're there. And she says, too late. They won't see you now. I was pissed. I was so fucking pissed. And I said, now what do I do? She says, well, are you a morning person? I said, not really. And half the time I don't sleep at night and, I just pass out and stuff. I mean, I don't know. I've really been in bad shape. Well, at 8 o'clock you can call the number, the main number. And I said, what main number? Well, how'd you get a hold of me? I didn't get a hold of you. The secretary did. So I had to write down the main number. And she says, at 8 o'clock in the morning, the phone line opens, and it'll be busy. And as soon as all the appointments are filled up, the phone won't answer anymore. You start at 8 o'clock, call in for an appointment for next week. And she says they do it by the week. What the fuck kind of messed up, fucked up system is that? Especially for behavioral health where somebody is having a crisis or some really horrible issues. Jesus fucking Christ. And that fucking Trump, he keeps taking things away from the regular people like me and everyone else, most everyone else. He's gallivanting off in another country, enjoying himself, and, he's being treated like royalty, and he loves it. Why should he come back home? Such a prick. I hate that fucker. Dick suck fucker. I mean, it looks like he's ready to have people put their dicks in his mouth. Maybe that's why he's in the Epstein files. Maybe that's the thing that'd be worse than eating babies. Showing his weakness by having people prod him. It's gotta be it. He's cutting everything from people. Fucking asshole. Oh, he was over in Japan and the president premier, whatever she is, she was leading him around in this room. There was a band playing and there's some flags, and she'd stopped to pause and he kept walking like he was lost. If it would have been Biden, they would have been all over it. But he's just like wandering around like an idiot. And then she had to take him by the hand and take him around in the room. So someone took that footage and they put different sound to it, different audio. They put the Westminster Kennel Club dog show type of speech. This is the such and such breed, and he likes doing this and he likes doing that, like the show dogs. It's funny as hell. But he's such an asshole. I don't know. If I didn't have that German thing to go to in the spring, I probably would have fucking just tried to die. It's horrible. I finally get to the point in my life where I can be a person without albatross around my neck, without a narcissist telling me what to do. And that's part of the reason I didn't want to be involved with Alfred. He's using me as a patsy. He's using me so that whatever talent I have will help him get gigs as the King of Bavaria in various joints. I'm not his little go-to patsy. So I said no. If it means I do nothing at all, I do nothing at all. Alfred did kiss me a couple times. I mean, if I wanted to kiss him, he's a good kisser. But no, I just can't. It's too fucking freaky. People out here are too fucking weird. I mean, there are some nice people out here. The people that are also damaged like I am. A lot of people that show up for open mic night have had some very rough childhoods. So I think we understand each other and they're my good friends. I hope they realize that. But, yeah. At the open mic night, there's a guy that looks like he just escaped prison. He's always talking about his big balls getting in the way. He said, someone said he looked like he had avocado stuffed down his pants. So you know what's going to happen. I'm going to start calling him avocado pants. But, yeah. I fucking had it. Bought myself an advent calendar from Trader Joe's for December with chocolates. I bought each kid one too. I mean, Spencer and Sebastian. Brian says Sebastian doesn't eat that kind of thing, but Spencer will have it. I said, well, then that's for you guys. Share it, you and Ash. I don't know. I'm so fucking exhausted. I bought a Celsius energy drink for tomorrow to try to get stuff done around here. I hope it doesn't give me a heart attack. It's not good for you. I really have to get a lot of stuff straightened out. And it seems like the days go by, and the days go by, and the days go by, and nothing gets done. It'll be May before I know it. I have to have a hard copy of the ticket, or I won't be satisfied. That goes for the airplane, too. If I have to drive out to Palm Springs to the airport and get a hard copy of the ticket and all that stuff, I'll have to do it. But I have like an itinerary folder, and it's clear, you can see through it, and I'll have all the tickets and everything in there. I don't want to leave anything to chance. When I've gone places, other people have booked it for me. Other people have paid for it for me. I'm on my own, and I'm just learning to be a person, and I'm 68. That's terrible. Until my mom died almost 5 years ago, she was a narcissistic millstone around my neck. So, I mean, I have a lot to talk to a shrink about. I need a lot of help. Some people think I've got it all together. Bullshit. Sorry for all the swearing, but fucking goddamn it, motherfucking god shit damn it, motherfucker. I have to. I'm sorry if it offends anybody. It's really hard to go upward and onward.